All right. Hey, guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. I'm super excited to have this amazing lady on the show. This is Katrina Scarborough. She is the Osceola County Property Appraiser. She's got a lot of titles. We're going to learn a word that I didn't know. We're going to learn about her, but it's always an honor, and I always love the fact when an elected official will come on and kind of share their journey with us. So huge kudos to you. Thank you for being here, and welcome, Katrina. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me. I'm pretty excited to be here today.
I'm excited. You were on time. I didn't have to mess with any of that stuff. So kudos to Kevin, who we'll bring on a little later, and of course, Rachel, who helped set up. Before we went live, I was telling you how much the audience loves origin stories. So they want to know what you thought about doing, what you did prior to becoming the Osceola County Property Appraiser.
So I actually started in the office when I was 16 years old, still in high school. I was a teenage mom and I needed a job. So they were hiring. So I would go to school in the morning and I would go to work in the afternoon. I started at front counter answering the phones, taking homestead applications. When I graduated from high school, I went to work for full time because obviously I had a child, and I have just worked my way up. I've been in the office for more than 30 years.
Wow.
Yes. So I did leave the office back in 2004, I think it was 2005, the end of 2004, and went to work for the tax collector's office for about a year and a half. The previous property appraiser, unfortunately got removed from office for doing some things that he shouldn't have. And so the governor appointed Atlee Mercer as the property appraiser back in 2006. And then Atlee brought me in as the chief of staff to help run the office, because at that time I had had more than 20 years in the office working. Wow. I've worked in every department except for out in the field. I did do a little bit of field work. I shouldn't say that. Tangible is really the department I never physically worked in. And then once it was time to run for office, I ran in 2008, and I've been property appraiser ever since. So my whole entire adult life has pretty much been here, other than a year and a half at the tax collector's office.
So it's fascinating because it's one thing to me to work in a government office. It's another thing to actually run for office. So that's a big leap. People don't realize just because you've been in that office for 20 years, taking that next step, it's not just a baby step, it's a giant step to be the property appraiser. What was the decision-making process like that for you?
So when the previous property appraiser was removed from office, I was working for Patsy Hefner, and she knew the knowledge that I had for the office. So she encouraged me to try to get appointed. So with her backing, I did work on trying to get appointed, but the governor wanted someone who had not been associated with the office. So then when that didn't happen, she encouraged me as well to run for office. So I wasn't sure about that, but I'm very close with my parents, and went and sat down with my mother and my father and said, okay, if I do this, I'm going to need the support of my family. So between myself and my brother and my parents, they said, if you want to do it, now's the time. We'll support you. And that really was the decision making. If we're going to do it, let's just leap. Let's just go for it. So that's what I did. It was a huge leap for me. I never, ever, ever thought I was going to run for public office. This wasn't something that I thought, oh, one day I'm going to run for public office. No, not something that I ever thought about doing. However, as adults, we have to take opportunities as they come. And that was an opportunity that I felt I should just jump on and try. If I wouldn't know unless I tried. So
listen, it's a blessing, I think, to be able to, public service is in my opinion, a very selfless thing to do. We were talking about being under the public eye, and it's not just the job, it's a whole bunch of other things. And there's a million different factors in place that you think you know, but you really don't know until you get into an office. And so kudos to you. And I want to talk about the office because I think a lot of people don't know what a property appraiser does, other than where they look up to see their homestead. They don't understand the outreach, which we talked about before we went live. So you can give us a little overview of what a property appraiser does for the county?
Sure. So my role is to assess all property, real and personal. Personal property would be like office equipment or equipment that a business has in their business. And so we as appraisers have to assess all of the property. We have to keep the tax roll updated. So as properties sell, we have to update with the most current property owner. I'm responsible for administering all exemptions, not just homestead. There's several exemptions out there. So we're responsible for all of this. So when you get that tax bill in November, it is my staff and myself who have placed those values on those properties, which is way more than just homestead, because if you're a property owner, we are affecting you indirectly.
Well, you make such an impact, I believe, and I think people don't realize how many lives you touch and how the community is very important to what you do. And we talked about the outreach a little bit earlier. Tell us more about that, because I know that is part of your plan, and that's part of what you do as the property appraiser for Osceola County.
Yes, I see my role not only as the administrator in the office, but the person who goes out to the community to help educate the property owners, because most people don't even know the property appraiser exists. So it's my job as the elected official to educate them and also to let them know what their rights are as a property owner. If you get your tax bill, call us and ask us about the value that we placed on it. That we should be able to tell you how we arrived at that. Yes. So we're involved in the community. We go out to do community outreach. I do things like this. I speak groups like I'm going to tomorrow. We have booths at different festivals. We'll be at Viva Osceola next month. I go to Rotary. I just spoke to a Rotary on Monday. During COVID, I did a lot of this Zoom type presentations just to stay in the community. So I just feel like that's a really important role of mine, is to get out into the community and educate as much as I can, because the more that you as a property owner or a business owner knows about what I do and what I offer, the better off you are.
Understanding it, I think, is so important. Also, I told you, and I want to give you kudos again for the audience. It's so important as an elected official for people to feel like there's accessibility there in some way, shape, or form. Feel like it's not just somebody up in an ivory tower that's making all the decisions and nobody's ever seen you or heard you. That's not how you approach what you do, and I love that, and kudos to you for that, because I have seen it where it is the complete opposite of that. And it is so good for you to be able to engage the people and answer the questions and have a team that also feels the exact same way that you empower. All right, we want to talk about tomorrow a little bit. I'm going to bring Kevin on from VAREP in just a second, VAREP. Tomorrow you are doing a talk on tax savings and understanding property valuation. So give us a little sneak peek of what that actually means, because those words, I think, scare most people.
Well, they shouldn't. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about actually what my office does and all of the exemptions that are available, because a lot of people think it's just homestead. And yes, that is the main one. You have to have homestead in order to qualify for others. But there's several other exemptions that are available. So I'm going to talk about those and what it takes to qualify for those, and then touch a little bit on how we come up with the values. But I'm going to zone in on the exemptions right now for this group.
Perfect. And then before I bring Kevin on, I was trying to pronounce this word that was in your bio, which everybody could see. Tell us what a Cadastralist.
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 Yes.
I told the story, and I'll bring Kevin on now. I told the story of how I had to look that up because I thought Kevin might have spelled it wrong. I had never heard of it before. Tell us what a Cadastralist is. I got it. And then I will introduce Kevin.
So a cadastralist is simply a map maker. So a lot of the background that I have in the office prior to being elected was in our land records department, and that's where all the maps were made. And when I started over 30 years ago, we actually hand drew the maps. Obviously now with technology, we draw them on the computer. So because that was what my role was in the office, I went and got certifications. And of course, I've maintained them. There was no reason to let them lapse. I worked hard for those. I did.
A cadastralist. I'm going to get this.
You got it that time.
I got it this time. I love it. I love it. All right. So now I need to bring on Kevin Strotter. He is with VAREP, which is the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals. And that amazing group which I am a member of through my mortgage company, VIP. We love that group. They are organizing your talk tomorrow. So welcome, Kevin. Tell us a little bit about VAREP, and then tell us how we can watch or participate in Katrina's amazing talk luncheon tomorrow.
Beautiful. Welcome. I'm glad to be on the show again, Ted and Katrina. Nice to meet you for the first time. We in VAREP, we've been established since 2011. I'm going to look back on my screen here because I don't have all that stuff memorized here, but we were established in 2011 in the USA Home Ownership Foundation's Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, and we're a 501(c)(3) organization, nonprofit, HUD-approved housing counseling organization dedicated to increasing sustainable home ownership, financial literacy, and education. And we also counsel and for retired and veterans and even active duty, give them the understanding of their rights with VA when it comes to buying a loan.
So important.
So we had the opportunity to just set a board in Central Florida. I'm community outreach for Central Florida chapter, and we love helping and we love giving back to the community. And there's a story Ted knows. 2018, I was blessed to help a disabled Marine veteran with a mortgage-free home. So we're all about the community, veterans. And Katrina, we're glad to have you tomorrow and on board.
Yes, give us the details. How can we tune in? How can we participate? How can people actually enjoy and learn from Katrina when she speaks tomorrow?
Absolutely. If you go out to Eventbrite and you could just Google VAREP Lunch and Learn, you have the events that come up, and we'll be there tomorrow. And you can just click on the link and register, and you'll come right to my computer. And then you could either have a choice, virtual or live. If you come live, it's $7. I'm sorry, if you come there, it's $7, and you'll be entitled to lunch. And you can also click on virtual so that we know you want to watch it virtual as well. So we'll know how to accommodate the lunches versus virtual. And it'll definitely be good and entertaining. And I'm always about learning. And Katrina, I scour the site. I'm a realtor too as well. So it's really important to understand what's going on in the community, what the numbers are, tax evaluation, what can I do to better my home, to enhancements, for enhancements. So it's definitely a pleasure. And again, I'm a member of VAREP, Veteran Association Real Estate Professionals. And the website is www.varep.net. And we have chapters all over the country, and you can click on chapters in Central Florida, and then you'll see the members there, and you'll see a picture of all of us. And it tells you about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do. We believe in that.
It's exciting, and I'm excited. Thank you, Kevin, for organizing. Katrina, I'm so excited to have you on the show. I think it's, again, amazing. Cadastralist.
Great. You got it right. Yay!
Listen, I'm practicing that, and I'm going to be able to say it tomorrow, too. I really do appreciate what you do for Osceola County, and I do appreciate you sharing. You can attend this tomorrow virtually. So look for the link. You can go to varep.net. I will tag all the links again on social media. You can reach out. But if you want to learn more about what's going on, want to get some basic knowledge on the things that intrigue you or scare you, depending on where you're at, tax savings and property valuations, tune in. And it's so wonderful to have an elected official come on and obviously share their point of view and some great information. So Katrina, thank you so much for being on the show. I can't thank you enough. I will see you in one way, shape, or form tomorrow. And I just want to give you a big shout out again for coming on and taking time to share with us. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Thanks to you, Kevin, and of course, Rachel, who's in the background somewhere. Thank you, guys. Again, varep.net, property-appraiser.org, but everything's on social media. Reach out to us. Get involved. If you want to learn more, it's a great way to do it. All right, guys. We'll see you soon.